Hello guys and girls, how's it going? Screezilla here and I hope you're all well. And you join me in a Pontiac Solstice. Yes, I am driving a Pontiac Solstice today at Lime Rock. And it's going to be a mixed race, I think. We've got some MX-5s. So, a little bit of difference in the series. So, I'll be a much slower car. Which isn't a surprise, really, because I'm a much slower driver. So we'll see how this goes in my second episode of driving in iRacing terribly with a gamepad. Okay, so qualifying. 8 minutes, 2 laps, 25 lap race. Okay, we can do this. Now, I think everybody else is going to be racing in like an MX-5 or something, so we'll probably be quite far down the order. But, we'll see what we can do. Try not to spin it on the out lap. So yeah, the Pontiac Solstice is a pretty slow little racing car. It's not one of my favourite vehicles in the universe. I think it's quite ugly, in fact. But the main reason I'm racing today is also to talk about the new feature in iRacing, which is day-night cycles and also cloud movement and stuff like that. So, no longer is the sky static. As the race goes on, the sky will move, the planet will move, and the sun will be moving. Not the best exit of that corner, but we'll try our best. So what that basically means is, especially in a longer race, depending on your start time, really cocked that one up. Okay, we've got 1 lap to qualify now. We were offline a bit there, but basically what it means is we're going to get the sun moving, so we can see the sun in the sky up there, and during this race it should move a little bit, it should go down a little bit. Also the clouds are going to move, and what that could mean is it could mean we'll get cloud cover over one part of the side circuit, so there's a dynamic system now in iRacing, which is so cool. And it's something that, you know, it's not a major thing, but it does make a big difference to actually how you drive. Because, much better exit there. As the sun goes down, it cools, and the track cools, temperatures cool, track temperature cools down. And that can mean that the way the track operates changes as well. Not the best corner there, we've got a bit too much inside corner. Now just bear in mind, for those who are watching this and going, oh my god, this guy's terrible. Yes, for one I am. Welcome to my channel, by the way. But secondly, I am using a gamepad. And I know it's not an overly big excuse, but it really does affect how this works. A gamepad, it's not impossible to enjoy iRacing on a gamepad, and that's what I'm doing this series for, but it does make it a hell of a lot harder. It's very hard to consistently be online. You'll get some people that can do it. Much better exit there. We should be good for our class. Hopefully about a 1 minute free. 1 minute free. There we go. So you can see on the timer as well, it's set in, I think this is a US server actually, so it's 4:30 at the moment, and it's starting to get a little bit dusk-like, so we're going to see it get slightly darker, hopefully, if we survive the race. As I expect, I'm probably going to get lapped in about probably 4 or 5 laps, you know, knowing my luck. but we'll try and keep out of trouble. So, getting to the start. Already got somebody off the track. And not a terrible start there. Now let the number 15 through. Got a big smash there. The main objective for me is to not crash. That's it. This is all I want to do, is just not have an incident. You can see the speed advantage of the Mazda going through there. And just because we've been on cold tyres, struggling with that speed, we just got really low end speed, and the car is quite a heavy old car as well, so it really doesn't get up that speed very quickly. We've got a pretty decent drive out that corner. We'll keep it in 4th gear, and around about the 200 meter mark is where I want to brake for this. And we've got another Pontiac Solstice behind us, so we're not the only one on the track. So we'll see how we go here. The car is a very heavy car, and it does not like turning, of course. And it's just in that awkward gear range as well, where it just needs an in-between gear. Much better drive off the last corner there by that guy. It's on my inside still. Sort of had nowhere to go for that Mazda, but we managed to keep in contact with the yellow guy. I was hoping I could possibly get underneath him. But hopefully this guy's a bit more experienced than me. We'll just see where his braking zones are. No point fighting that Mazda through that corner. He's got much more speed than me. It's just going to be a fight I'm not going to win. Do get better speed off the corner here, but you can just see the Mazda's pulling away from us already, and the Mazdas behind us are just roaring past us. Now, got through that corner really well there. One of the biggest places you lose speed with this car is just in the gear changes. Just find when you change gear in this car, it just really loses a lot of speed and momentum. Got about 97 through that corner. Not too bad, but the Mazda's just going to swing past us again. It's going for the inside line. No point fighting him here. We're just going to lose this battle. Second Mazda goes through. It's one of those fights that I don't really want to get involved in because I'm not able to keep pace with these guys. I don't want to ruin their races, so as I said, my main goal is to keep a clean race. We did get a slight tap from the Mazda earlier as we were going past it once it went off the track. The yellow Pontiac is pulling away from us, which isn't a surprise. I say most people are a little bit more experienced than me as well. This is I think it's my 5th or 6th race. My first race in this car as well, so little bit of struggle in this car, you know. It's not an easy car to go. Got 20 laps to go after this, so we're slowly counting down. Again, we'll just break into that 200-meter mark. Our lime at Lime Rock seems to be really good through that first corner. So we're definitely not terrible. If you just look up at the sun in the left-hand corner there, just near the mirror, you just see the cloud is just starting to obscure it a little bit. So the dynamic system is starting to change it up a little bit. You know, we're seeing a little bit darker on the track. The clouds are going to start. Sorry, the shadows are starting to grow. One of the Mazdas just spun there. Easy enough to do as we go off track. Just a wheel off line there, unfortunately. No gain, but we did just get a little tick for it. It's easy enough to go offline at Lime Rock as well, because it's just one of those tracks that's just deceptively hard. There's a few very fast corners, and you feel like you could go flat through them. But if you do, you're just going to end up just running that little bit wide, and it really costs you. And we've got another MX-5 coming up. Just look at the speed advantage here. Just so much faster the Mazdas are through those corners, and just mainly their straight line speed as well. They just really just monster past us, which makes life hard. On the straight I might look and see where I'm sitting in there position wise. I'm currently 10th, so that's not too bad. And the Mazda just ran a bit wide there, and as you can see, we're just catching up, and really we just start catching up, and then he just starts pulling away again. We really lack that speed. Looks like somebody may have just taken a pit stop. And the clouds are all moving around. If you sort of keep an eye on the clouds, they've definitely moved from last time I saw them, which is just great. And of course, cloud cover can be a big thing in racing, because it can make a big difference in the temperature of a certain part of the track. When you've got cloud cover, it can really cool down parts of the track and catch you unaware sometimes. A great track, for instance, on that is Adelaide, Adelaide V8 circuit. I think it's turn 7, turn 8 on the straight. Basically, it's a small kink, and it's just under a little bit of cloud cover. sorry, not cloud cover, a little bit of tree cover and building cover. And because it's so much cooler, it really catches a lot of people off. Same with Imola as well, actually. So, sorry, Monza. Already had a bit of an off there. And a yellow out there. Luckily, no full course caution. $16 laps to go. We should just have enough fuel, I reckon. Might be a little bit dicey towards the end, actually. We might need to duck in just to grab some fuel. And start lifting a little bit earlier and just coasting the corners a little bit, just to try and get a little bit better economy on the fuel mileage. And looks like we've got the leaders coming up behind us. Caught the outside a little bit there, a little bit sketchy. Just keep on the outside of the racing line, just let these guys through. Racing hard for the win. Obviously in multi-class racing it can be tricky because you can get some, you know, when there's a slower car ahead of you, especially something that is much slower in acceleration, it can really catch you out a bit. Because the closing speeds are amazing in cars. You don't really realise it until you've actually experienced it. Especially in racing, things like that, because you can really have a massive closing speed on somebody without noticing it. And you'll see the sun is definitely going down here. The night sky's changing to that slight reddish colouring you get in the evening. And we've got another car coming up fast behind us. MX-5 just spinning there, just managed to avoid that. One of the worst things you can do as a lapped car is sort of bait off the racing line. To make it sort of look like you're getting off the racing line and then get back on the racing line as you're going for a corner. Then you need to make sure that the driver behind you knows which way you're going and which corner you're taking, especially your lines and things like that, because if they're coming round and lapping you, and you sort of are erratic, it can really throw somebody off. So 10 to go. Currently in 9th place, which isn't too bad. I've got a big speck of rubber on the tyre though. On the tyre, on the windscreen, sorry. Messed up the entry to that corner quite a bit there. This car feels like a vacuum cleaner. It's just so slow. Has no power. Honestly, I've ridden lawnmowers with more power than this thing. It just feels like the gear ratios are just wrong. I imagine on another circuit that might work a little bit better, but here at Lime Rock, it just isn't in the right gear ratio rating. You know, it just really doesn't like it, and you can't get that speed up. The car seems fine around these corners, even if I did catch the curb a little bit there. In sort of 3rd gear, this car is fine, but once you get to 4th, it's just, ugh, it has no power whatsoever. And the trouble is, a lot of Lime Rock is that sort of 4th gear. You're just going to over-rev your engine if you keep it in 3rd. Looks like we've got a car coming up behind us. Not sure if it's a car to be lapped or a challenger. It's an MX-5, so it will go past no matter what. We'll just keep off to this side of the line. We've got some racing going on here, and it's just getting the car in the right position now. So we are racing with that white and green car, so going for the inside line in first corner really helped out. But we are not going to manage to get the same speed of the MX-5 through this section. It's just going to blast by us, and into 10th place it goes. Or maybe not, actually. Maybe the purple one was in front of me before. bit of a tricky place to let people by there, honestly. It can get quite hard up in that up in the sort of tight section of this track to let lapped cars go through, because you do start getting very, very very tight sections. So the best thing you can do in that case is just try to go as fast as you possibly can and not to hold them up too much. Not sure what that was for. Now we are running a little bit low on the old fuel. So it could be a little bit sketchy to get to the end here. We've got 4 to go. And we're almost on an empty tank. Oh, big crash there, big off. And another big crash there. Only 2 laps to go now. Bit of an awkward spot here, unfortunately. Hopefully that was the leaders, and we've just gone another lap down. Awesome, we've only got 5 laps of fuel left. We'll be fine to make it to the end. So this is our last lap now. Only 1 lap to go. We can really push the car, and as you can see, the sun's gone down considerably now. It's definitely got darker. And this will be the end of the race. So we managed to finish in 8th position. So 8th place, not too bad at all there really. Quite happy with that. Definitely not on pace. We we're well off pace, but the main thing was to keep the car out of trouble, and that's what we did all race. So no real offs. I think I got 3 penalty points or something, so not too bad. And we'll go and have a look at the post-screen results as well, so see who we beat, things like that. There we go, awesome. So, that went rather well in all honesty. Let's look at the results screen. So we finished 2 laps down in 8th place, so not too bad. The MX5 Cup and the the Solstice Cup. So we finished pretty much last. But we weren't terrible. We were only a lap down on the rest of the field, which I expected it in all honesty. In qualifying, not too great. We can look at the, I think they've got fastest laps, have they? No, they haven't. No fastest laps, but that's fine. We sort of, I'm happy with that. It's a terrible result, but I'm happy with that. A lot of people had worse races than me, so that's the main thing. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. There will be a few more iRacing content pieces coming up soon, mainly with me just doing a little bit of driving here and there, and just, you know, finishing well down the order, because I'm not that good, and as I said, I'm blaming the gamepad. Blaming the gamepad. So, pretty happy with that. I think it went as well as can be expected. So, yes, that's good. We can, of course, go back and have a little look-see at our race and see how we did, which is always fun. So anyway, I'm going to head off now. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. This is me, Carl, Screwzilla, out. Bye-bye.
Hello, I'm here, don't forget I'm here.
But the other thing he just did there is he did light up the rear tyres and get some heat into them. And that's really important. If you can get some heat in those rear tyres, you're just going to get slightly better drive out that restart.
Excellent.
So the pace car is coming in right now.
Excellent pickup, Carl. A little bit of heat gives you that little bit of grip because they cool off while they're just rolling around. So, all right, so pace car's peeling off.
A bit of bounce.
Away we go. Oh!
There we go.
Did Leah just run up the back of Smith then?
Yeah, actually Leah just ran up the back of Smith, just ran straight into the back, and and Smith's
just gone down the outside.
Martin is going around. Jason Martin's gone around. Jason Martin has gone around into the back.
And it's
big, huge crash.
Massive accident.
Massive.